Yeah. Okay.
Test.
It's okay. You hear me? Okay. Perfect.
Yes. All right.
Okay. I think then we can start. Can everybody hear me in the audience actually? Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. So good morning, everybody. I'm Lucas. I'm a senior consultant at Deloitte, and today we brought a customer a partner of ours, to give a little introduction into how they use Odoo as a platform. Why we choose this partner, MobilityPlus, is because at the Odoo practice at Deloitte, we try to focus on scale-up companies and startup companies. Also, we have also other focuses, but this is one of our main focuses. So this is why we thought it was interesting to give a quick introduction or let our partner get some spotlights on how they use Odoo. And then at the end of the presentation, I will pick in and tell you a bit more about what we are doing at Deloitte together with MobilityPlus. So I would like to give the word to Steven from MobilityPlus. He's the IT manager.
Okay, thank you, Lucas. Hey, welcome everybody. So today I'm going to talk about how we use Odoo as our main platform in our operations. So my name is Steven Peters. I'm the IT manager, the head of cybersecurity within MobilityPlus also. Now, who is MobilityPlus? What do we do? Well, our mission is actually to accelerate the transition to green energy by enabling everyone to charge carefree, green, and in a smart way. This is how it all started for our founder and still co-CEO at the moment. The slide is not showing.
Seems to be a little bit of a technical
Some
delay.
technical difficulties. Sorry for that. So this is our mission that we have, and it is of course to make sure that transport is sustainable. So we want everybody to drive an EV and to charge green and without any effort whatsoever. Now, how did we evolve? So we started in 2016 with only our CEO actually starting it, having 35 charging points and managing about 210 sessions in that year. Now, I'm not going to go through all the different years, but you see that we are growing quite steadily, and by the end of this year, we will have managed over 6.2 million sessions with over 143 million kilowatt hours in total. So that's a lot of energy that we are not really consuming, but we are providing, and we facilitate that energy usage. Now, we also have a charging card and a charging app that allows people to charge all over Europe with access to over 700,000 charging points. So the carefree part is pretty much taken care of with this. Now, enough about us, but why did we choose for Odoo? There are several reasons why we did that. First of all, Odoo is a Belgian company, and we love to do business with Belgian companies. We have several partners that we use, and we try to keep it local. So that's one of the things that we try to do. It's open source software, which means that we can still apply some patches to it ourselves. We can do adjustments to it, of course, and there's a big community around the whole Odoo software. Standard ERP solutions are never a one-size-fits-all. It's always a bit of a difference with the theoretical and what is possible and what we actually need as a company. So there's always adjustments that need to be made, and Odoo makes that pretty simple. And we did indeed make a lot of adjustments. So we have integrations with our OCPP partner, for example, to get our charging sessions from all those European charging stations. We don't do that integration ourselves. We stick to what we do best, and there are other partners that are doing that a lot better than us, so we use them to get that data to us. The planning that we do for subcontractors for installations and such, that is also done in Odoo. We have custom workflows specifically for our business that we have integrated. We have automatic integrations with inspection companies so that your house or your installation is certified at the end of the day. And then of course we also do our order fulfillment for charging passes that is fully automated now. So they go onto the portal, you can order a card, and then that is automatically gone through the system, no human intervention necessary for that. And of course we have our mobile app and our web app that is building on top of what Odoo delivers us. Small look at how that looks. So this is one view of the portal with a dashboard that allows a fleet or facility manager to get the total TCO, the total cost of ownership. How much does it cost on average to charge a car? How many tons of CO2 have we saved? So for their ESG, which Fabienne talked about earlier as well, for ESG reporting, this is also something that can be used there. Our app allows you to manage your charging station at home. We read automatically the mileage from the car, for example, to avoid fraud. Like with normal gas cards, you have to enter it. We read it directly via the API of the car. And also we manage the energy at home, where we make sure that the capacity tariff, if you have a peak, it is not because of our charging station, but your house, we cannot control that, unfortunately. But should your house get an uplift in the peak, for example, then we follow along with it because you still have the comfort and you already paid the fine for that specific peak. Now, this is what we do with Odoo. Now, how does that look in our architecture? And without giving away too many secrets, this is our high-level architectural diagram where you can see that Odoo is really in the center of it all. All the arrows are going away from it or pointing to it. So we have our app, we have our portal that communicates via our backend API layer with Odoo. The only thing that we did different compared to most companies is that we have separated the Odoo application from the Odoo database. So we are on Azure, and we've gone to native Azure Postgres database for scalability, but also for security, because it's always a good idea to separate your data from your web application. Then we have our data coming in from our charging stations. We have Zendesk that is coupled with Odoo so that when the customer calls, we immediately know who that customer is, where that installation for that customer is, and so on. And then we do the finance part in Odoo right now with follow-up in Exact Online, but we are going to migrate that towards the end of the year to do it internally as well, which will be handled by Lucas and his team. He will talk about that in just a bit. And of course, all that data, it's a lot of data. As I said, we're closing in on 140 million kilowatt hours. That's a lot of data that's coming in as well. So many sessions, 6.2 million sessions. Those are getting into a Fabric. And in Fabric, we do all kinds of data crunching for reporting and for gathering data for the dashboard. Now, a challenge we had is that we had to migrate our Odoo version to the latest one. Well, it's not the latest one anymore. So we migrated from V14 to V18, which is a big migration that we did. So we had to be really prepared to tackle that. How did we tackle that? Well, first of all, it was a 6-month project where we tried to have a code freeze as much as possible. Now you cannot code freeze your entire code base for 6 months, so we had to be lenient and a bit pragmatic on that level, but as much as possible we did freeze the code there. We migrated module per module, we tested it module per module as well. We did not do everything in one big lump. And then of course you need to have an extensive test plan. So developers testing the changes, we have testers testing the changes and the full integration, and then we had extensive user acceptance testing with business users, of course. But even that doesn't really cover everything that a user or an end user will actually do. So what you need to do, a dry run for the rollout, naturally. So we did that over a weekend towards our staging environment. And then when push came to shove, we had a full weekend effort to roll out to production. So shutting everything down on Friday evening, starting the migration or the export for the database, migrating the database, migrating towards the new server, migrating towards the new version of Odoo, restoring the database again, and then testing a whole day. On Sunday was testing, and then after that we had our hypercare period, which was about 3 weeks. We didn't really see anything that was quite alarming. There were a few minor things, again, as I said before, because customers do some things that you don't test. You cannot test everything 100%, but there were no big things that was coming out of that. That is why we could have kept the hypercare period quite short on that. Now, what are the benefits that we were getting from the V14 to the V18? It's a big step change, of course, and a lot of new features that were available that were not available in V14. So that is definitely a plus for us and was one of the triggers to get us to migrate to V18. I already saw a few interesting things in V19, but I don't think we'll be migrating that yet, since we've just completed V18. And as a business, you have to keep running, of course, as well. Now, we were able to remove historical code that was no longer used. As Lucas said at the beginning, we are a startup moving into the scale-up phase of our company. Right now we are closing in on about 100 employees by the end of the year. So we're getting that structure set. We're pretty much a good scale-up right now. But in the startup phase, you do a lot of things custom for customers, right? And we are now in the phase where we have to say, okay, customer, this is our product now, and if there are some good ideas, we can build it in, but we cannot do everything custom for your specific workflows. So there was some historical code that was no longer used because the feature was no longer used, or it seemed a good idea at the time, but it was never used by customers anyway. So that was a bonus. We also removed custom code that became standard in V18. So we had custom modules that we had. For example, we had some custom code for VAT notes for the 6% rule. So in Belgium, if your house is over 10 years old, then you can, if you do anything to your house, which is including installing a charging station, it can be charged as 6% VAT instead of 21%. But you have to have some specific notes on the invoices for that. That was not standard. Right now it is, so we could remove that specific code. The same for the MPS, the CSAT scores. That was also a custom built module. Again, now we can do that directly in Odoo. We managed to eliminate 15,000 lines of custom Python code, which was roughly, if we round it up, about 30% of our custom code base that we could eliminate by updating to the latest version and going towards more a standard approach. Next to that, we also were able to eliminate 4,000 lines of XML code. XML code is used for email templates, is used for screens that were no longer used and stuff like that. Now, why is this important and a big benefit for us? Well, there are actually two aspects to that. First of all, it's from a security point of view. Again, the more code you have, the more liability you have in your code. So it's always good to have or to stick to the standard as much as possible. A second one is, of course, if we have to migrate another time, it's less code to maintain, it's less code to upgrade the next time. So the next time, the upgrade will not be 6 months, but maybe we can do it in 4 months or in 3 months, who knows. So those are big differences and big points of interest for us to move more towards the standard approaches, to move towards the standard features, and to do less and less of the custom code. Now, we still love the fact that Odoo has the ability to do the custom coding, because we use it still quite a lot. I mean, if you see the 15,000, means we still have roughly, I think is around 38 to 40,000 lines of code that we still have in our product. And it is still very much needed because we do have very specific needs in our niche in the market that we are in. So that makes it for us a lot easier to go with Odoo than with other ERP solutions because of that flexibility that we have. And we also do our own development of Odoo in-house. So we are independent, we can move on, we can move as fast as we want, or as fast as we have resources for, of course. And that is definitely one of the reasons why we chose for Odoo. Now, what is next is that we are partnering with Deloitte for a few tweaks, and Lucas will tell us a bit more about that.
Thank you. Thank you for the interesting introduction to how you will use, how you are using Odoo as a system. At Deloitte, maybe first give an introduction if necessary. So if you don't know Deloitte, we're one of the largest service provider in the world and in Belgium. And since last year, we also are Odoo partners. So we also do Odoo implementations, but we also help our customers with their already set up Odoo processes. So this was the case with MobilityPlus, as Steven discussed. They do a lot of developments there on their own. They already had Odoo running for a long time. So we only came in the picture a bit later, but came in the picture to mainly focus on the finance aspect of the implementation, because this is something that often comes at the last step of the implementation.
Correct.
And sometimes is a bit disregarded, or there's not a lot of capacity internally to handle those issues. So we started at MobilityPlus to do an end-to-end process scan and see which processes are impacted and how those processes impact the finance point of view. We saw that there were some issues or some struggles. And so we wanted to also highlight where Odoo can be used as a standard platform. So as Steven also discussed, they already did a lot of cutting of the features that became standard in the newer features of Odoo. So this is also something that we try to give insights into. How can you use standard Odoo, and which features can be used to optimize that process. We always work from a process-driven standpoint, so we always look at the processes and not only on the solutions. In this case, they already have a solution called Odoo Selected, but at Deloitte we also provide lots of other services and other solutions. So if necessary, we can always give other insights that maybe other partners cannot give. One of those advantages is we are a very large financial institution also, so we have a lot of financial insights inside of the company that we can use to help our partners or customers. One of the things that we tackled at MobilityPlus is the key account management and the contract management. So they have large customers who have multiple sites, who have extended contracts, and a contract is something that's not standard feature in Odoo, so you cannot follow up on those contracts. Now they have to export that data in Excel, and then it is a long process. So we suggest here to change Odoo to facilitate this process and make it possible to do on the spot, on the fly, insights on those contracts and those key account managements. So as I said, they already have optimized, or they have very good day-to-day operations. The framework is there, the features are there, the app, all those things are actually quite strong. It's really strong development, but all that data is available in the system, but there's not a lot of controlling and a lot of reporting done on that data. So this is where we came in to help set up a framework to do this, and to help give them insights on how this could be done. I think it
is part of our scale-up nature, of course.
Of course.
We move ahead, we move fast. We have to move fast. It is a fast-moving area that we are in, and then governance stays a little bit behind sometimes. Yeah, that's the next step now.
Of course, yeah, and there it's where we come into the picture to try to support those activities. I think this was my last slide, so I think we're on the end of the slides. If you want to learn more about what we do at Deloitte and with Odoo, feel free to visit our booth here. If you have questions about, as I said, we focus on scale-ups, but we also have some other focuses. Feel free to come to our booth to ask questions. If you have questions for MobilityPlus, feel free to reach out to your website or
Yeah, you can talk to me here, or
Yeah,
I'm around here for a bit longer as well, or you can go to our website mobilityplus.be, and then you can contact us there as well.
Okay. Then maybe we'll try to project the question slide. So then there's a path.
No questions?
Yeah. So now you could possibly scan this QR code if you have some questions and submit the questions. Don't know if there would be any. No. Okay.
No? Okay.
If there's no questions,
Thank you.
thank you so for your time, and thank you, Stephen.